All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation. The leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is trying a new approach in his search for freedom. Kanu has opted to defend himself in court after his entire legal team withdrew from his ongoing trial on treason and terrorism charges. At Thursday's court session, senior lawyer Kanu Agabi, who had been leading Kanu's defense team, announced his withdrawal, stating that the defendant has chosen to handle his own representation. All the senior advocates of Nigeria on the defense team also withdrew from the case, a decision Kanu confirmed in court. Kanu told the court that he will be representing himself for now, but might consider engaging a lawyer later. When the presiding judge asked if he wished to be assigned legal counsel, he declined the offer and asked the court to grant him 90 days to conclude his defense, citing the number of witnesses and the volume of evidence he intends to present. Now let's hear more from this report.
At Thursday's proceedings, Kanu Agabi SCN, who had led Kanu's legal team, announced his withdrawal from the case along with other senior advocates in the team. Mr. Agabi explained that their withdrawal was because the defendant has taken them off the case and they respect the decision. He named other senior advocates withdrawing from the case to include Onyechi Ikpeazu SCN, Joseph Akobo SCN, Paul Erokoro SCN, Emeka Etiaba SCN, and one other. Following Mr. Agabi's announcement, Justice James Omotosho turned to Mr. Kanu, who was in the dark, for his response. He confirmed sacking all his lawyers and told the court that he was willing and ready to conduct his own defense. Justice Omotosho then ordered other members of the defendant's legal team present in court, except the SCN, to vacate the courtroom immediately. The judge thereafter asked the defendant to open his case. Mr. Kanu began by challenging the jurisdiction of the court to continue his trial, but he was overruled by the judge, who insisted he must proceed with his defense. At this point, Mr. Ikpeazu drew the court's attention to the fact that the withdrawal took effect that morning and urged the court to allow Mr. Kanu a few moments to gather his thoughts and prepare. The prosecution did not object, prompting Justice Omotosho to adjourn the case till Friday, October 24, for Kanu to open his defense.
A number of us defend Nnamdi. He has decided to conduct his defense by himself. He has a right to do so. We respect that decision. And we wish him well going forward. That's all.
Mr. Kanu had earlier submitted a list of witnesses he intends to call in his defense, including the Minister of the FCT, former Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, and Governor of Imo State, among others.
I mean, he has sacked or let go of all his defense team, but why? And you now choose to represent, himself. Talk to me.
Yeah, he has a right.
He has a right to do it.
He has a right to self-representation under the Nigerian Constitution. And you can listen to the lead of the legal team that he has a right to sack them. He has a right to represent himself.
But
if
for a terrorism-related issue.
Yes, I guess he thinks that, he probably thinks that they were not representing him well, or probably because he felt he could speak for himself more. He probably thinks that probably those ones are being too diplomatic or too legalistic and all of that. I actually went to check the background of Kanu to see if he had a legal background, but I realized that all I could get on him was that he attended University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and he didn't even finish. He didn't graduate before he moved to the United Kingdom. So you can't say that he's a lawyer. But he doesn't have to be a lawyer to represent himself personally if he thinks he's good enough to defend himself. But I'm just afraid that based on his antecedents,
Yes.
based on his makeup, you know, because he's somebody that can burst out at any, you
Can be a
know,
bit emotional.
yeah, it can be emotional. So I'm just wondering if he will be able to handle his case effectively.
Do you think he's making an error here?
Well, let's wait and see. You get it. As time goes on, we can now say whether it is an error. For me, I think it will have been better for him to rely on professionals to handle his case. But if he thinks that he wants to handle his case himself, you know, the first thing he's saying now is querying the jurisdiction of the court.
Has been sorted out,
and that one has been sorted out immediately. There may be some things he thinks he knows that the legal team does not understand. No. Maybe he will now tell the court, and he has even reeled out the names of people. That
the witnesses,
the witnesses, how did he describe them? Compellable, vital and compellable witnesses. And he has listed the names of the likes of Theophilus Danjuma, former Minister of Defense, Tuko Buratai, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Hope Uzodinma, and Nyemson Wike, you know, and a whole lot of others. But I am just wondering how he will be able to compel these people to appear in court. So there are lots of things about him, but like he also said, maybe if it doesn't work, he can change his mind, because he said this can also change. So maybe he has it at the back of his mind that he may be making mistake. Supposing I've made a mistake, I can still correct myself. Just that we don't know if this legal team will be willing to take over from him if he so decides at any other point in time.
I mean, looking at what she said, do you see this as a sign of him losing confidence in his legal team, or perhaps a desperation or a deliberate strategy, you know, to draw public sympathy here?
I think it's just a deliberate strategy to draw public sympathy. And it might really not work for him. It might really not work for him, because this case, everybody, particularly people who have been following this case, they've been coming up with two things. Let him defend himself, or let's start begging the federal government to go ahead with political solution. Those are the two things, so that at least there will be peace and people will just go away and say, okay, this matter has ended. You know, but him going through this route is making the case, you know, look as if, why are you going towards this particular route? People are now asking that question, because it will be very difficult for you to defend yourself in a high-stake case like this.
Yeah, terrorism related.
You know, because one, no matter who you are going to call, Danjuma, governor has immunity.
The FCT minister.
You know, so it will take a judge, you know, to say, okay, subpoena these particular people to come. And they might really not want to come. What they will just do is just to, you know, send in their written, written appearances and all that, and then they will send to the court. They might not come in person. So how will you now start your case? How will you now start to even ask? Because legal matters are not come chop, as they will say. Because anybody that goes on the dock, goes into that dock, you need to ask questions. And if you're questioning a person who is in the dock in a wrong way, the prosecutor will say, sir, that is not how to ask questions.
Exactly.
There are techniques to, you know, legal terminologies that you will use. Even filing a case is even difficult. So just like you said, does he have that knowledge? Or is he going to go and look for a lawyer that will be writing all this? Even if a lawyer writes it, and you take tons and tons of volume of files, and you go to court, you will still have to start explaining what you have in the file or in those documents. So I feel, at least he said maybe at some point he will get a lawyer.
But for now, he wants to do it himself.
You know, because I feel this SAN would have withdrawn because of what happened during that protest. Because he had a lawyer who was actually in that particular legal team.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you saw them protesting. As a senior advocate of Nigeria, I'm not sure if I was, I would not be
a part of
that team. No. Because we have a case in hand. Why will a junior lawyer go out and start protesting? Are you trying to twist the law, the judge? No, you can't do that.
The whole thing.
Or what's in the whole thing? Because they believe, I'm very sure, because Kanu Agabi is not a small fry.
No, not at all.
In this league. So he understands the law. He knows that, okay, fine, we can go ahead with this case and even win. They've done it before. He has done it before. Although I know that even Michael Zokwan was also part of this team until he left.
He left, yeah.
What happened? And just like you said, even he himself, sometimes you hear the way he talks to his lawyers in court. He also has to calm down. He has some public sympathy outside. There are some people who really want him out.
Yeah, true.
There are some people who want him out. So he has to calm down and see how this case can be done so that everybody will now know whether he has to be in jail or not. They might free him. After all, the Court of Appeal even, ruled in his favor some years back. So why not just allow somebody who is competent or those who are competent to handle your matter? And at the end of the day, if you are found not guilty, you go home. If you are found not guilty, you go home. Because everybody wants this case to be done with, if you look at it. Exactly. Everybody. And that is why when he was saying that he wants to defend himself, if he wants to defend himself, it will be difficult for him. Because those people you are calling, Hope Uzodinma will not come. Esonwo-Olu will not come. T.Y. Danjuma, 80-something-year-old man, you want to go and bring him to come to court.
So in other words, what we all are saying here is, you think he's making an error here?
Yes, it's a tactical error.
Even though it is his right to.
No. By constitution.
If you watch one of the videos that...
Just in 20 seconds.
Yes, one of the videos trending now. There was a place he was telling the lawyers, what is it? Who will tell you if I come out and tell them to stop what they are doing in the Southeast, they will stop. Nobody can disobey me. If I tell them this, they will do. Maybe he thinks that that legal process is actually prolonging his stay.
But even now, he's even prolonging it the more.
So you think he's worsening the whole
situation for himself. So, but then, let's wait and see.
All right, let's wait and see, okay? Like BK will say, time is a gentleman.
Yes.
We need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away.